The moment I had to choose myself came at the mercy of me asking my husband to not do this to me again, to not put me through what I've endured, not just this year, but throughout our marriage and connection. And I remember sitting in the bathroom, halfway in the tub, halfway out, trying to get the prayer out, trying to ask God to intercede on my behalf. And I just knew at that moment I had to choose myself. If I did not choose myself in that moment, it was going to be over for me. Hi, if you are new here, welcome back to my channel, The Brown Artifact, where you are a part of the collective healing. This is a space that was birthed out of my own individual healing and a space where I am uncovering who I am and returning back home to myself. And so I'm really excited to be in this space and share my journey. And I do want to say this as well. This space is not for me to blame anybody that I'm healing from, or to air out details in an effort to create or facilitate drama. This is a space for me to reflect, to really walk through my healing process and hopefully connect with other people who may have shared similar experiences. I believe in transparency and authenticity and to also move forward in all things with grace. And that is how I'm showing up in this space. I am going to be my most authentic self and share my truth. And so I thank you for following along with me on the journey so far. And I hope that you find something here that resonates with you or helps you. So back to me picking myself off that floor. This year has been, as I stated, a very challenging year. The night that I had to use all my strength to get up off that floor and choose myself came after a series of events from this year. And if we're being truthful, throughout the connection of my marriage. And for the purpose of this story, we're going to name one particular individual woman, Sabrina. Now, Sabrina plays a major role in the story that took place this year and why I just got to a place where I just could not endure. So let's put a pin in that and let's go back to the beginning of this year, to January. January 29th, I received a text message from a woman who we will call Desire. She sent me this text message of my husband in 4K from her Ring camera as he was coming to her house at about 5 o'clock in the morning to do his thing, to smash, to do what he wanted to do. Now, what was unique about this video of him in 4K was that on January 11th, I had held a ceremony in our house for him to cut off his locks. My husband had been growing his locks for about 7 years, and he wanted to cut them off because he was trying to get into the police department. Keep that note for later. So I cut them off in a very beautiful ceremony for him to release his locks. And so when she sent that video, I knew that it had to be recent because January 11th, January 29th had to be within the last two or 3 weeks, right? Right. It was actually 2 days prior to January 29th when he smashed. You see, what happened was, like most situations, she was unaware that he was married. He knew he was married, but she didn't know he was married. So somehow she went on his Instagram and saw the pictures of us, and she was really hurt by that. And she threatened him to expose him. And she did. She did. She not only text messaged me, but she text messaged my family as well too, and let them know his infidelities. She also messaged people in his family and let them know his infidelities. So you can imagine it was quite fucking embarrassing. Anyways, the day that he had set up to go sleep with her was the day he was sitting in front of me as I was writing his autobiography for him to get into the police department. In addition to that, answering the questions for him to get into the police department, because getting into the police department was his ultimate dream goal. And of course, as my due diligence as a wife, I wanted to help him get there. And so I would do whatever it took and utilize my strength and background in education and writing to help him get there. Yeah. So, after receiving the message, and addressing it to him, of course, he instantly gaslit me, and was just like, that didn't happen. And then it turned into, yes, it did happen, because obviously he's on 4K. Like, come on, bro. But he was just like, yeah, I just made a mistake. And, I don't know how he made a mistake sitting in front of me, planning out sleeping with her. And then the next day, missing work, so missing money to go sleep with her. I don't know how that happened to be a mistake, but for him, it was a mistake. And so we went on this back and forth of him talking about how he was made a mistake and, how he could potentially lose his family over this. Now, a few points. At the time, he was a welder, so he was getting paid on an hourly base. I was not working at the time because I had just had our youngest child, and I had came back from maternity leave, and they had did a position elimination, so I got a severance package and unemployment. So I was able to utilize that to help offset some of the bills. But my husband at the time, he was working his hourly job, which he was only making $20 an hour. So I have always initially been the, I guess, breadwinner. I don't like to use that, but it is what it is. So we were, at the time in January, we were in a financially healthy place, but I knew that some changes were going to have to come, because we live in California. So things are expensive. We were going to have to make some money. Anyways, I say all that to say that he was missing work to have these intimate affairs, which was costing us a lot of money. And it continued to cost us money down the line as we get all the way to December. But yeah, he missed work and basically like wanted to do his thing, right? So when I found out about it, I was embarrassed. My family knew about this infidelity. His family knew. Like, it has just sent me down the drain. I was dealing with postpartum depression. I was dealing with the fact that I'm applying for jobs and couldn't get a job. Now I'm dealing with the fact of shame and embarrassment that not only, is this another situation where there's infidelity, but you've messaged everybody in my family and in your family. So it's just like, what? And then also, like, we were supposed to be in a entirely different space together. Like, we had what it seemed like moved into this really good space. And so that was shocking to me, not to him. Anyways, he took that as an opportunity to open the floodgates of what proceeded to be a very, very ghetto year. There was a lot that happened within the first couple of weeks where he would not come home because he said he was going to deal with the girl for exposing him. But really, he was at Sabrina's house, which we will continue to get to. But he was at Sabrina's house. Sabrina had gave him a key to her house, a Dodgers key, and he was spending his time there. He was creating a family there with her, and she was excited to have him there. He wasn't spending the night there initially in the beginning, but only for a couple of days, and then he, continued to come back home regularly. But yeah, it gets deep. So I'm gonna stop there and kind of just talk about what I learned from that experience. So the first thing I learned is to not judge myself, um, and not be defined by the judgment of others. The woman sent those messages to my family, I immediately felt shamed. I felt embarrassed, and I felt like, what am I going to do? Knowing that all of these people know what's going on, and I'm also dealing with the pain, and he's also completely abandoned me, and I felt really hurt. But what I've come to grow and learn is that I don't have to be fearful about the opinions of others. I don't have to be fearful about the experiences that I've went through and endured. And so, what I want to share to the viewer, whoever it may be, I don't want you to ever be embarrassed about being in a situation of infidelity. Um, I know what it's like to be in infidelity, and I also know what it's like to be abandoned. Um, and then to be dealing with regular life experiences, especially if you're a woman and a mother. So I hold space and grace for you in that. And we will tap in on the next episode. I'm sending much love and many blessings to whoever is viewing this. Peace.